Hello and welcome to Tête-à-Tête, France 24's flagship interview show. Our guest this week is Francesca Albanese. She is the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Human Rights in the Palestinian territories, and she joins us from Tunis. Thank you very much for being our guest this week.
Thank you for having me.
So on February 8th, the Israeli government took several steps to strengthen its control over the West Bank, facilitating land purchases, allowing Israel to seize control of areas under control of the Palestinian authorities, including religious sites, and also gaining greater leeway to demolish Palestinian structures. In a joint statement, foreign ministers of 8 Muslim-majority countries strongly condemned what it calls illegal measures aimed at imposing Israel's sovereignty over the West Bank. What is your reaction to the latest move by the Israeli government?
Yeah, this is absolutely worrisome because of at least 3 reasons. What Israel is doing is illegal in and of itself. And it shows that there is no limit, no restraint to the conquest ambitions of this government. The second element of preoccupation is that this happens in a context of heightened violence in the all-occupied Palestinian territory, while the soldiers and settlers are spreading terror in the West Bank and East Jerusalem, and the plan to fully destroy Gaza continue. And at the same time, and this is the third element, but concerns all states, it's shocking how Israel is given free hand to continue occupying the Palestinian territory, while there is a clear decision of the International Court of Justice, the highest judicial body in the world, which declares the occupation illegal and to be dismantled totally and unconditionally. The settlements, the troops, and the control over the natural resources. This is a peremptory norm of international law, the right of self-determination that is being violated and has implications for all member states.
I want to get to Gaza. According to the Trump administration, the war is essentially over. It's now time for reconstruction. However, on the ground, Israel has not fully withdrawn. There are still Israeli strikes, and Hamas has not disarmed. Do you think that the Trump administration is trying to move too fast, and that there's still a problem that needs to be solved in Gaza?
I would like to say that the violent situation, the monstrous situation that you called a war, is definitely not over, as the death toll of the last 2 months demonstrate. There are nearly 600 Palestinians in Gaza, including many children and elderly people, who've been killed by the army through bombardment and continuous sniper fire. The evidence of war crimes, crimes against humanity, and acts that constitute genocide continue to pile up. And when you ask me, is President Trump going too fast? It depends. If we imagine that President Trump and his acolytes have really third peace is going in the opposite direction, but of peace. But what this administration is helping Israel, this U.S. administration is accelerating Israel to do is the ethnic cleansing of Palestine. Genocide is functional to clear the Palestinian land of Palestinian life.
In your reports, you've accused Israel of committing genocide in Gaza. You've been much less critical of Hamas, and as such, you've been described essentially as an anti-Semite and anti-Zionist. The latest example given by those who denounce you is a forum hosted by Al Jazeera, which also featured Hamas leader Khaled Meshal, and in where you reportedly accused Israel of being the common enemy of humanity. Is this what you said? And what is your response to those very, very severe accusations against you?
The accusations are shameful and defamatory, but let me put this in context. First of all, I would requalify that I am what you said, that I am much more critical of Israel than Hamas. Excuse me. I've condemned Hamas crimes and war crimes and possibly crimes against humanity committed on October 7. And from October 7, 850 days have passed, during which Israel has slaughtered between 70 and 80,000 people, destroying everything, pulverizing everything that was life for them, homes, schools, places of memory, hospitals. You know, this is so abominable that we struggle to contain this, and it's so disproportionate to anything that has been done, that of course I keep on focusing on Israel. And every time I can, yes, I condemn Hamas. I've always condemned Hamas for what it was doing to the Palestinians before October 2023, you know. But the second thing is that anyone from the Pope to the Secretary General has been accused of anti-Semitism for simply asking Israel to comply with international law. Anti-Semitism is hatred and discrimination of Jews because they are Jews. But this has nothing to do with asking Israel as a member of the international community to comply with international law. Its crimes are fully documented. But also there is such a level of manipulation of the information from the acolytes and the accomplices with Israel apartheid wherever they are. And the example you quoted is phenomenally spot on, because I participated remotely, as you can see from the video, and I encourage everyone to watch and to listen to what I said. And I challenge everyone to find what I'm accused of saying, that Israel is the enemy of the humanity. I've never said that. I've said something very different, but of course it's been manipulated so as to corroborate the defamation against me. What I've said is very different. And I was in a panel, not with Hamas leaders. This is yet again another distortion. I was invited by Al Jazeera to speak at a panel composed of jurists, including former prosecutors of the ICC, Fatou Bensouda, and I was honored to be among them, frankly. And what I said was, of course, commenting on the genocide and blaming not just Israel, but the system. It's the system that has armed the genocide, that has sheltered genocide from accountability, and has also profited from the genocide. It's this system that concerns much beyond, a reality much beyond Israel, as I've often said, that is the enemy, that is our common enemy.
Last question.
Maybe it's too complicated. It's too sophisticated for the simplistic minds of those who crush everything into anti-Semitism in order to shelter Israel from accountability.
You are under U.S. sanctions since last July after you issued a report in which you accused major U.S. companies of complicity in what you describe as Israel's genocidal campaign in Gaza. You have been accused by Marco Rubio of anti-Semitism, support for terrorism. You have ties to the United States. What is your response to those accusations, and what impact does it have on your daily life and your family's daily life?
Yeah, the sanctions are abominable from all points of view, practical and legal. From a legal point of view, they are totally unlawful, both under international law, because they impose sanctions, which are a brutal and draconian measure that is normally taken against narco traffickers or, drug dealers, international drug dealers and terrorists, proven terrorists, which is clearly not the case of a human rights expert who has done human rights work all her life and now is doing that pro bono for free for the United Nations. But also this is a clear, I've been sanctioned following the the presentation of my report, which was accusing nearly 50 businesses, companies, private entities, half of whom are, one third of whom are Americans, are in the US, of contributing, being connected to, or even causing human rights abuses and crimes. This is my fault, having shed light on the ultra-capitalist system which benefits from impunity, including from being connected to Israeli crimes of unlawful occupation and apartheid and genocide. This is what I said. Immediately after, I got sanctioned by the United States. And of course, besides the international illegality of these measures, there is also the fact that they affect me practically. I cannot have a bank account because being sanctioned by the US means that the entire banking system, which revolves around the US SWIFT code system, prevents me from accessing it. So I cannot perform financial transactions. I cannot receive my earnings. Everything is blocked. I'm relying on my family as I used to do before being an adult. This is the reality. And on top of it, I also have an American daughter. You know, my husband works for a US organization. This means that they, like anyone else in the US deals with me, risks up to $1 million fine and 20 years in jail. I mean, isn't this absurd? To simply have exercised freedom of expression, freedom of speech in a context of evident and fully documented crimes that I have the responsibility, the obligation to report on.
Francesca Albanese, that's all we have time for. I want to thank you very much for being our guest this week here on Tête à Tête, and stay tuned for more news on France 24.